Come back to Maula cognition once again. It has been snowing in UK, in England also. We had snow in the morning. By midday, the snow was melted. So everything brings some wisdom, some understanding, and some correction. So when the snow came, I'm looking around. My heart is inspiring me to say a few words in the daytime about 8 hours ago. So what does the snow give us a message? The snow tells us about the punishment of the grave. So-called Islamic scholarship, square heads, literalist scholars, intellectuals, they take religious wisdom and understanding externally. So the Quran is saying about the punishment in this world and in the hereafter. According to the Hadith, the punishment about the fire, the Quran is talking on the fire of Jahannam or hellfire, the punishment in the hell, boiling water, burning things, everything burned in the hell, and people's skin will be replaced to taste the punishment again and again. And here in the Hadith is saying that people will go to grave and the good people will have the gardens of paradise open to their grave. Evildoers will have the hellfire open inside their grave. So there are so many cemeteries in England, in Scandinavia, let's say in these Rocky Mountains in America, North America, Andes Mountain in South America. In Canada, it's almost 6 months snow. So many unbelievers are buried in these graves in the cemetery in European countries, North America, Siberia in Russia, and parts of Greenland, Iceland, all over. Snow, glaciers, and long snowfall, cold nights and days. So if there is fire of the Jahannam is there in the grave, then the grave should not be covered with ice. If the fire means literal earthly or worldly or a created fire. When people have very bad time, they say, I feel like hell. That means the hell is a spiritual experience. It's not a physical experience as people make out. So the heaven is also a spiritual experience for the spirit and soul, not for the body necessarily. Of course, body can experience that trouble and irritation and annoyance, just like a person is possessed by demons. Although the demon possesses the body, the person's mind and spirit also experience severe trauma, and the body also experiences severe trauma and disaster or depression or wounds because the demon is working in that body. So if the punishment in the grave is literal and earthly, then in winter time all these graves in England, there are snows are completely covered. All the snow supposed to be melt in the graves above the graves of the most sinners, because it could be extremely hot, extremely unsettled kind of energy there that could cause the snow or ice around the graves should melt. So if the Prophet and companions lived in Siberia or North Canada or places like that where there are glaciers and constant snowfall, the Prophet can come. The Quran would have said heaven as a warm, hot place, saying if you are a true believer, you will have a hot country with lots of sunlight, heat waves and all that keep you warm. But the Prophet and companions lived in Arabia in an extreme hot and humid place. and in their intellect, in their mind, in their cognition, heaven means cool and crispy, snowy, nice, weathery place. But people in the European countries, North America and Siberia, for them heaven is hot countries, very warm countries is their heaven. Everybody want to go to holiday, to Dubai, to Cyprus, to Lebanon, to other hot countries in the Middle East, or hot and humid countries like Thailand, Bali Island in Indonesia. So these are the heavens of the people of the cold country. But what do you think the heaven of the people of the hot country, like in the Mecca, is extreme hot, lack of water, is humid, is sandstorm, is very adverse condition. But if the Prophet has lived in North Siberia or Siberia, North America, Iceland or Greenland, they would have to deal with harsh winter, cold and snowstorm, and the Quran would be saying about the heaven, warm, sunny, hot countryside with lots of sunshine and heat. People feel happy and comfortable. So the concept of heaven and hell in literal meaning is not literal in meaning or understanding. It is most things to do with experiences of people who lived in certain geographical area. This is what we must understand. 1400 years ago, we need to look back and living in those extreme conditions. In a hot country, they would have that desire for cool, snow, water, all these things will be, the mind will be occupied with having a comfortable life in that kind of place. So, situation in Arabia, scorching heat will be like a hell. So, all the Semitic religions portray hell as hot and humid. Extreme thirst means their imagination go to the extreme of their extreme of the worst of the situation. But the best of the situation for them is raining, snowy, mild and moderate, cool countryside or places. Lots of lakes, glaciers, river of milk, honey, wine, all those things, vineyard, all these things. So imagine if the prophets and companions or the Semitic religions were located in the coldest part of the earth. They would say that the hell, the Quran or the biblical verses would come saying the hell will be extremely cold place, much hotter than much colder than the place they used to live. Just like the hell in the Semitic religion is, hell is much hotter than the place they used to live. With all this kind of volcanic activity in some part of Middle East like Turkey and or the places they know close by like Turkmenistan, there is a hot, fiery place in the land. And the mountains, volcanic mountains in Sicily, some volcanic areas in Yemen, all this region, Great Rift Valley in the east of Africa, where the Horn of Africa is. So that become the picture of hell. Especially these places are located in the continental drift regions. So the hell or the edge of the pit of the hell, it's all like those kind of regions, Rift Valley area, Ethiopia, Somalia, Arabia, all this area, Persia, and the Balkan region, where all this fire, muddy water, as if the sun is setting in the muddy water, those explanations are there. But if they were living in if the prophets of the Semitic religions were started in North America, like Canada or Russia, Siberia, north of Russia, or Scandinavia, in north of Europe, the Quran will describe, or the Semitic scriptures will describe hell as the most coldest, unbearable coldest place. We must wake up and understand. So an expression is given for the people of that region to understand what hell or heaven is, so that they will understand the extreme difficulty or scorching heat condition. So if the prophet and companions or the Semitic religious prophets were sent to, if they lived in the coldest, scorching cold places, like chilling cold place, shivering cold, they would say that the hell is extremely colder than that. They don't want to fall into hell, the coldest place. That they would rather have heaven, very warm, hot, humid place that they can keep warm. Even there is something called winter syndrome. People who migrated from Middle East, South Asia and East Asia, they feel like they want to return to their homeland because of the extreme cold. They feel like they feel more of a homesickness, another winter syndrome, so that they feel like they want to relocate back to their warm and sunny homeland in South Asia, East Asia or Middle East. Affluent, wealthy Europeans, they travel to the Middle East or other warm countries to escape from the extreme cold. So this is how the hell and heaven is. I don't want to give you so many references to the Bible or Quran or Hadith because it's boring to me. I just let my spirit speak, my soul and spirit speak, so that we can understand something. All the time bringing academic thing, it doesn't befit me, because this intellectual, academic, literal knowledge, it is good for the scholars, the academians, the intellectuals, your so-called fraud sheikhs and scholars and spiritual and religious leaders. They are good at following this textual knowledge, and you believe in their intellect and what their intellect understand. That is your religion. The understanding of the intellect of your scholars and religious leaders, that's your religion. But that's not the religion of Christ or the prophets. So peace be upon the prophets, and their wisdom is what we seek. Peace be upon all the messengers of God, and praise be to God, Lord of the worlds.